we're going to have a really, really good, a good podcast about ghosts. Yeah, we're going to talk to Jaden Feitel. He's in Michigan, and he's got a company called Paranormal Experience that gives haunted tours. So we're going to talk to him in just a little bit. So, hey, whoa, Okay, we'll talk to Jaden in just a little bit. Howdy. Want to welcome you to Barney Logan's podcast. We're going to be talking about ghosts today, and I wanted to introduce my guest, Jaden Feitel.
Hello. How's everybody doing?
It's actually Feitel.
Yes.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Ready to talk ghosts.
Yeah, you're coming to us from Michigan, right?
Yes.
Right, exactly. Your organization is called the Paranormal Experience with Joe Warner.
Yeah, that's our show that we do. We do a live stream show. It's a little different than some of the ghost shows because we go completely live. There's no editing or producing with our experiences when we're in the field looking for evidence.
How long do you guys roll for if you're live? I mean, you could be in there for hours, right?
Yeah, it really depends on battery life, honestly. And then viewers, if we only have a few, we're not going to stay going live, but we do anywhere from 2 to 4 hours.
That's
sometimes batteries get drained in locations that are particularly active.
Interesting.
So yeah, it's really weird.
A couple of places we're going to visit today are the historic old Sixth Precinct police station. What can you tell us about that place?
Oh, that place is really awesome. It was abandoned for about 8 years. A gentleman by the name of Ed Steele bought it to use it as a data center. And as he was starting the restoration process, he had construction crews in there experiencing a lot of paranormal activity. And they wound up quitting. He was having a really hard time getting crew to work on the place because they were just so terrified of it, and wound up getting on Travel Channel's Most Terrifying Places. And now we go in there a lot. We do a lot of really awesome investigations there. Found some really good evidence, some really cool history of the place that we didn't know about. So.
Very good. And we'll get into a little more detail on it. And the other one is this Ohio State Reformatory.
Oh, the Reformatory is a beautiful building. It took my breath away as we drove up. It's like a castle from Europe. Limestone, brick by brick, built by hand, in the early 1900s. Again, really active place. Lots of paranormal activity in there.
All right. And then Hillview Manor. That, you said, has got the largest amount of paranormal activity.
Yes. This is the most haunted building I've been in yet. But I saw energy materializing, shadows moving, voices, footsteps, really weird, eerie feelings, like we're being watched, knocks on the doors as I'm walking by. So yeah, this place is amazing.
All right. We'll get back into some details on those. Now, in your whole general area, you've probably got some myths, urban legends in the Michigan area. Can you tell us a little about some of those? I think you mentioned this car museum.
The car museum, I'm not sure if there's any urban legends attached to it, but I know that they say that place is haunted. I haven't gotten the chance to visit yet, but it's said because of the cars. They have original cars, especially being close to Detroit. You've got Model T, Model A, all these really old cars, and this place is said to be haunted, more than likely because spirits have attached themselves to the vehicles.
So that's yet to be explored.
For me, I haven't been able to be in there yet.
Right. And the Mackinac Bridge, I guess, has its story.
Yeah, there's an urban legend about the Mackinac Bridge that a woman, and I forget the date that it happened, but a woman with her baby jumped over the bridge, killing them. And when you go across the bridge at midnight on this date, you can hear the baby cry and then hear the splash in the water. Um, you know, again, urban myth. Could have been my mom just trying to scare me, but I know other people have also heard the same, the same story from around here. So
Trying to get you to stay off the bridge, right?
stay in the car, keep my hands in the car.
That's right, exactly. All right, let's go back to the Sixth Precinct. Oh, well, let's actually tell me this. What is your setup? How do you deal with trying to record and capture?
We use a lot of different equipment. I'm not going to turn any of it on because a lot of it's electromagnetic based. So with all the computer stuff, it's going to just go off. So here I have, I call it a triple threat. So it's a Melmeter, it's a REM pod, and it's got a temperature sensor up here. I'll turn it on for a second. And it makes different noises and lights with different things. So this is the REM pod, and what that does is just basically feels the energy around it. So if energy comes near it, it goes off. But that can also be set off by your phone, walkie-talkies, things like that. So we have to be careful with that.
Okay.
Yeah, this way. The temperature gauge down here, that'll go off if that drops significantly. If it's strange. If there's a draft, it'll go off too. So again, we have to be careful. We can't put it by windows in old buildings. And then the Melmeter too. So that's basically that's a K2 meter. It's the same as this, but it's all in one. I like to use both at the same time in different spots in a room. This I like to put in the doorway because we find a lot of spirits following us in and out of doorways. And then this just somewhere close to me. And again, this is the same. Electricians use it to find live electric wires and things like that.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right. So, how many times have you gone to the Sixth Precinct? You've been there a few times.
A lot. A dozen at least a dozen times.
And what kind of stuff have you found? How active? I mean, do you know of any terrible stories there that these ghosts might be connected to?
People getting killed in the basement, people hanging themselves, shooting themselves. A lot of violence around this particular building. It's Detroit, and it was a police station with a jail in it, and it wound up being the gang squad unit. So there was a lot of violence in this building.
Was there ever an incident with a police officer, or was it always?
Oh yeah. Police officers killed themselves there, hung themselves. Yeah. It wasn't just necessarily I don't want to say inmates because it was a jail. It's not a prison, but I don't know what they're called when they're not in prison.
When who's not in prison?
When it's just a jail, I don't know if they're inmates or not.
I don't know. I don't know actually myself.
Yeah.
Let's
we'll
see.
Just call them inmates.
Let's see. There's a jail area.
Yes.
It looks like. Yeah, I've got a picture of that. Let's see.
Yes.
And
this is
crummy.
Is a pretty active area. We get a lot of stuff here. A clip that you have that you'll probably show at some point. Something got thrown when we were in there. We hear footsteps a lot through the jail cell area when we're the only ones in the building. When we use any of our audio devices, we get a lot of communication there.
Right. And this place is not open. Somebody owns it now privately, right?
Yeah, it stopped being a police station in 2008. And was abandoned 2005, I'm sorry, and was abandoned for 8 years. During that time, it was looted, scrapped, squatters stayed there, just absolutely destroyed. When Ed bought the building, there was actually a tree growing up through of it, destroying the roof up
Oh
top.
my
So,
God.
Yeah, water everywhere. Just so it's definitely a slow process for him restoring it, which is actually one of the reasons why we do events with him, is because the proceeds go to restoring this awesome building and turning it into something that can actually help the city of Detroit.
Right. Speaking of awesome buildings, this place.
Man, seriously breathtaking. I was shocked. Like I said, when I drove up, it took my breath away. It was like I haven't seen a building that cool since I was in Europe.
It is the Ohio State Reformatory, correct?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the Ohio State Reformatory, also the location where Shawshank Redemption was filmed. So you'll see, people even from this picture will probably recognize it, but throughout the building they have things set up referring to the movie, little cutouts, Andy Dufresne and things like that, and scenes that were in there. But besides that, it has a lot of paranormal activity. They see apparitions. They get people always turning on and off lights, just messing with any electronics that are in the building. This is a place where our equipment got drained pretty quickly, which is always really interesting, because when you know that your battery is supposed to last for 12 hours and it lasts for 30 minutes, something's going on there. And the theory behind that is the spirits use the batteries energy for them to be able to communicate and do things with us.
Are there any stories associated with this place? Previous people have been there, and then the ghost. I mean, is there a known ghost?
I don't know if they've named him, but I know that there's a ghost that likes to lead tour groups around. So the tour groups think that it's their tour guide, and they wind up following these spirits around to where they turn a corner and then they find that the person's still walking, but it's a locked gate.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Is this place on the architectural landmark list or anything like that? I mean, it looks fantastic.
I know it's historic. It's historic. When it stopped being a prison, they were going to tear it down, and the Ohio State Historic Society,
right,
saved it and had it made to a historic landmark.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And this
so you can tour it just as a daytime tour if you don't want to do the paranormal stuff, and then you can also do a ghost tour at night.
But you have done Paranormal Experience has done ghost tours here.
Yes. Yeah. I personally didn't find a lot of evidence, but I was more on the production side that day.
Mm-hmm.
So when our setup's huge, so we have to have somebody manning the computer at all times. So I didn't personally get much evidence, but there was some really, really cool stuff with our Melmeter, our REM pods, and things like that. And the episode is definitely worth a watch. It's on our Facebook page. So Paranormal Experiences with Joe Warner. I highly suggest watching if you really like this building.
Okay, cool. I'm going to post all those links and such at the end of the video. And it'll be in the box in YouTube that people can click on also. And then finally, actually, this is the place you said was the most haunted of all. I think I ascribed that to the previous place. Hillview. What is Hillview? What is its story? It's in Pennsylvania.
Yes, it's in Pennsylvania. It's in northwest Pennsylvania, right on the border of Ohio. This place was, again, 1900s, early 1900s, was a poor farm and a halfway. It became many different things over the years. Mm-hmm. But the common theme was people that didn't have any family or anywhere to go went here, including children, people with disabilities that couldn't help themselves. So a state-run facility and hospital. And there was 10,000 deaths recorded reported over the 80 years that this was ran as a hospital in this building. And the cemetery for it is out back. And that's my theory as to why this is one of the most haunted buildings, the most haunted building I've personally been in. There was just so much activity when we were there. You know, there's one known ghost. His name's Eli. He was the maintenance man. He died in the boiler room. And he's kind of, they call him kind of the caretaker of the building still. He's known to follow people around and watch over them. You know, a little mischievous, but not necessarily a bad spirit. There's a guy up in the third floor. He haunts his room. When we were camera guy in there, he was walking out of the room and he got pushed out of the room as he was taking a couple of steps, which when you get touched, it's always really an feeling, I guess.
It's got to be a creepy feeling. Have you ever had the hair stand up on the back of your neck in these encounters?
I guess it's not necessarily how I feel and I react. For me, it's more like my body just feels energized, I guess, in a way. And sometimes it's a positive energy and sometimes it's a negative energy. But it's not necessarily the hair on the back of my neck, I guess. I guess that's not where I feel it.
I've always felt that I would be really strong, and if I saw a ghost, I would want to walk up to it and engage in it and not let it scare me.
Mm-hmm. I've done it. I like it. You know, anytime I see or feel or sense anything, I generally walk towards it, where you have people that are like, nope, I'm out.
I know. It's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Because we just don't know. Let's see. You said you had a little experience on, what was it? You called it Denton or Denton Road or something?
Yeah, Denton Road.
Was this what got you started? How'd you get into all this? Is this
No, the start of this is actually a couple of Halloweens ago. We wound up doing a tour at Eloise, which is a very famous insane asylum here in the Michigan area or in the Detroit area. And my buddy Joe, who Paranormal Experiences with Joe Warner, wound up getting in with that group that ran the tour, started doing a live show, and then it just it snowballed from there. Basically, we just kind of went with it and have not stopped since. But so that's Eloise is how I got started. Denton, the Denton Road story is something that happened when I was late teens. I know I was driving, so 17, 18. And this is another one of those urban myths in the area that this particular stretch of road is haunted. And I decided, hey, let's take my friends out there and see what we can find. And we drove through, and right at the spot, there's this little bridge. It's not a big bridge. It's one of those going over a creek. That's said to be the haunted portion of the road. And I just kind of opened my energy up and to see what we could find. And as I did that, this blue orb, the only way I could describe it, just kind of like opened up and then just closed back down again. And we got out of there because my friends all freaked out. And this is early 2000s, so we didn't have any sort of technology of cameras or anything. So I have absolutely no evidence this has happened to me except for the people that were with me.
But you wanted to run towards it and put your arms around it and hug it, right?
Of course.
Of course.
At least put my finger out and touch it, you know.
I know there is that feeling that we want to connect. Let's see. A couple things we don't have visuals for is this old mill in Dundee. The Ford family owned it, you say?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's really, really awesome building, really rich history with that. And so this building mill, so it's built, on a dam. bringing in energy from the river. But it's also really unique because it's on a limestone bed. The river is a limestone bed, and the building itself is built of limestone. And for anybody that's into the spiritual, the supernatural, paranormal, knows that limestone is one of those that holds energy very well and draws energy to it, which, again, my theory, but that's my theory as to why this place has so many spirits with it. But we were in the basement at this place, and there's said to be a man that is in the basement that likes women. So I have my wife Jillian down there with us, and we didn't even notice it at the time when we rewatched it. She's standing and she's talking, speaking to the spirit box, and her hair just gets flipped just ever so, but it wasn't gravity. She wasn't moving. It was literally just a whoop, which is pretty crazy. Crazy to see afterwards and not realize it in the moment.
Did she stay in the room or run out, or how'd she deal with it?
She didn't feel it at the time. She's got such thick hair that she doesn't really even feel that kind of stuff. But
all right.
She probably would have stayed there if she did realize it anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been very cool. We can kind of wrap it up. Now you guys do tours, correct?
We do tours, yes. Yeah. Our next tour is going to be the Haunted Hillview Manor this coming Saturday, so the 17th.
I have a little promo of that. Let me start to play it.
Brian, that just got out.
Something just pulled me.
It says how you are.
All right, that's pretty cool. They'll be able to contact you through a link I will put at the end.
Yes, absolutely. If you find yourself in Northwest Pennsylvania next Saturday, I highly suggest checking this out. I think there's a few tickets left. And it's just, this building is just so haunted.
This is the Hillview building, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see, one final shot of that. There we go.
Yes.
That's a nice, pretty picture of it.
Yep.
It doesn't look as scary there, but wait till you get inside.
That's right.
Definitely. All right. Well, I would like to thank you very much for taking time to talk to us. And
yes.
We'll have you back another time. And,
I like it.
Say goodbye to Jaden. Goodbye,
awesome.
Jaden.
Thanks, Barney.
All right. Thank you very much. And just want to thank everyone for coming to the show today. Got Halloween coming up. And we'll see you next time. Oh, hold on. I'm fading here. Oh, geez. Oh, can we concentrate? Must come back. What's that? Oh, concentrate. Oh, must come back. Must come back. Concentrate. Back to reality. Back to this realm. Oh, I made it. All right, that was a lot of fun. I like talking about ghosts. Ghosts are kind of scary. I had a ghost experience once, and it was scary. It had to do with my landlady. I'll tell that in a whole nother podcast sometime. But for now, I think it's just time to go away. Goodbye. I'm waiting for you. I got nothing to do while I'm waiting for you. In the evening, when the moon is low, I see the places that we used to go. But soon you will return to me, and then we'll be living
nothing to do.